Well, let's just get into it. This is Tailgate Talk. I am Shaun Ritter, along with Wags, the former major leaguer, and Eric Tasker today. Boys back together, all of us. I do want to start the show this morning by saying I do have a new best friend within this room. It's one of the two of you.
It's got to be.
Gotta be you.
It's definitely Tasker. You know how you make friends with people when you get a text message while you're at work doing your normal show, and it says, I left something in your office fridge. And I go back to my office fridge, and I find some venison brats and venison breakfast sausage waiting for me in my fridge. That's how you get to make friends. You leave them venison. Wags.
I got to get a refrigerator. I got you some medicine. I got to get a refrigerator.
Well, I felt bad for you. You kept saying you didn't have anything. You didn't have any wild games. So
emptied out the freezer of any kind of wild game, which to me is a good thing because that says that I've eaten it. You know, It hasn't gone to waste. I've eaten and done everything that I had and have used, and have not replenished the fish necessarily, which I still probably need to get out and do. I've been stuck on bass fishing and not, do the pan fishing and stuff like that. So I may have to readjust my outdoor activities pretty soon with that, which I actually got out over the holiday weekend and did quite a bit of fishing. Had to kayak in, 3 of the days? Two of the days. I hit 3 different lakes over the weekend. Went and did some fishing. Had a pretty good weekend catching some bass. Did have one observation that came up when I was out. Actually, on the 4th of July, I was on a lake here in southeastern Wisconsin. And I know the rules and regulations were that no boats could be any more than no wake speed, until 8 a.m. After 8 a.m. was free. I didn't realize that, seriously, 8:30, that lake woke up like everyone is ready to go, rear end set. There's boats and skis and people flying. I'm like, you're going to do this all day? Pace yourself, y'all. Wait till the afternoon. But I did have one guy. So this is a pretty big lake. I was up on the north end of this lake. I was really, really close to where they have a no wake zone. Boats weren't going to go. I was probably within a football field of that area. This guy pulls up in his boat, goes past me, goes almost basically to the no wake line, throws out his tube, sets up a guy in the tube. He's about 120 feet from me, and what does he do? Just full send. Takes off. I'm sitting there in a freaking kayak. I'm like, first off, dude, I'm not sure if it's 100 feet from another vessel, or I'm pretty sure, I've read in regulations, it's only 200 feet if you're going to be at full speed. I know it's for sure you can't be within 200 feet going in circle motions around another vessel. I mean, this guy just, balls to the walls, takes off there. I'm like, dude, you couldn't have, you had this whole lake. He could have went, 100 yards the opposite side of me from where he was going and been fine, and the wake wouldn't have been nuts at me. I'm stable in my kayak, but it was still one of those. There's stand-up paddle boarders that are on this lake too, and I'm thinking if you'd have done it to one of them, dude, don't be an a-hole. Yeah. I'm not alone in thinking that, right?
You missed the loophole, though. On holiday weekends, there's no restrictions.
And that's just what I think it was. I think it was, there's, the holiday weekends bring out the people that don't vote all the time or, don't have the common sense to go, oh, well, I have this whole entire lake. I can give this guy a little bit of extra space.
Yeah. That's probably why the boat launch was 70 cars deep, because it takes forever to people.
You missed it, Wags. You were out of the room. I was telling Tasker as I got on the water on this lake at 5:15, 5:30. I planned to be out there super early, so I got out and did some bass fishing. I caught some fish, had a really good day, and I planned to get off early. I was coming off at 11 as the warden was headed out on the lake, and I saw everybody trying to get in and having a kayak. The nice part is I don't have to wait to get out and get a trailer and back. I could tell there was boats that looked like they wanted to get out even too, but no one was. Everyone was just dropping in. Well, what's nice about the kayak and the way that I've got my wheels and my cart that I can set up is I just pulled up to an area where I can get out, at least stand on the water, and I can throw my wheels under. I can strap it underneath, put the straps to the top, and tighten it on, and then just paddle myself with my wheels in the water, floating, and I get to the ramp, and then I just pop out, grab the front of it, and I just pull myself right out of the water. So I was able to sneak right next to a boat there's a boat backing in, and I'm walking next to it, just sneaking out to get out. But I pulled up next to the warden where he was getting in his boat and going out, and I said, "Boy, you're gonna have a fun one today." He said, "Yep, they're already lined up all the way onto the highway, and they were where this launch is, this little road. They were all the way up that road and onto the county highway, trying to put in."
Jeez, well, that's what they always say. The holiday weekends you want to get out, but sometimes you avoid that because you get not saying amateurs or pros or anybody knows how to do it, but you get the guy who goes out with his tube and takes his kids out there, like you just said, and that's the one time of the year he does it.
Yeah.
And he has no clue.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah, it's the kind of common sense of, being polite to other boaters, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the nice thing about the bigger lakes is there's multiple launches. Then on some of the smaller lakes and you only have the one launch, then it's just a matter of you got to just be patient and get in and out whenever you can. And you got to just deal with some of that.
See, that's why I use the slip, because if you watched me back up, it would take me. Guys would be throwing stuff at me. They'd be like,
"You're one of those
what are you
guys
doing?
that I yell at."
I gotta back up. Lately, knock on wood. Lately, the last couple years, I've been pretty fortunate. There's not been. It's a two-sider. But nobody's been on the other side, so I could, if I slide over a little bit, I don't have to hug the pier side. And I've actually gotten it back, and my daughters have said, "Good job." But as soon as somebody else gets next to me, I think I tighten up. I think I'd rather face Barry Bonds with the bases loaded and 50,000 people yelling at me than try to back up with 13 cars waiting to unload their boat.
You'd be one of the viral videos of people sitting at the dock watching
guy
you
that I
back
yell
in, pull forward.
I yell at and go, "Hey, why don't you put it park? Get out of there. I'll do it for you."
Exactly. Or I'll go, "Hey, girls, I think we're going to go get some breakfast." We'll get breakfast first.
But everyone have a good holiday weekend aside from that?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, it was nice. We went up by the in-laws, so I got out on the water a couple days too. Actually did some fishing,
nice.
Which was nice. And yeah, I mean, it was just so warm. God, it was just so nice just to be on the water, you know?
It was good. We got up there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But again, my daughter's leaving for college pretty soon, so the fishing wasn't there. But just to have my girls and the family and stuff like that, just to go to the sandbar. Well, you know where we are up in Winnebago, and go to Butamore or something like that. We just find sandbars, and just to have them, you know, eating Jimmy John subs on the water and having a cocktail or a soda, it's just nice to have them around. So we really did enjoy it. But no sporting, but just just absolute fun time.
Yeah. It was nice just to be out there, that's for sure.
I want to name my my day on Friday as Dinkfest. I think I caught every 12-inch bass I could possibly find on the lake that I was on Friday. But no, when I went out on the other lake on the 4th I was talking about, I did better. I put myself in my own kayak bass tournament, and I came back with 66 inches. So 5 fish, 66 inches. Not great, but not terrible. Still, it was better than the Dink Fest that I put on Friday. So Wags handed me the story talking about Caleb Kufel, the first state angler to win the Bassmaster Elite Series. I tried to get Caleb on the show.
Did you?
I tried to slide into his DMs on Instagram. Nothing from him.
And he's a McGuanago boy, and he hangs out up there. So, yeah, I just saw that, and I knew you would know. Yeah, I was just kind of – that's why I brought the newspaper. And I do the outdoor news. I get it. I think we all probably at one time or another had a subscription to it, going to all the shows and stuff like that. But sometimes it's kind of neat to see numbers and people, and especially a local guy. And, with Shaun with Ritter telling us everything about, him following it and stuff, it was kind of neat to see. Yeah. Wow, a McGuanago guy, a local guy won it.
What was impressive about watching what Caleb did on Guntersville is, first off, it's Lake Guntersville. It's as far as bass lakes go, one of the top known bass capital type lakes down in Guntersville, Alabama. And this guy from the north, who you don't typically think is going to go down south, went and whooped these guys. And the thing was, he whooped them by doing the same things that they were doing. Normally when someone runs away with a tournament from, day one and runs, start to finish with it, like Caleb did, they're doing something a little different. They found something that other people didn't find. He literally was doing the same thing that just about everyone was doing. He just got lucky. And I'm not saying he doesn't have skill, but and he even said, he's like, I mean, if any one of you guys had these 2 spots I was in, you would have done the same thing I did.
Gotcha.
So that's what was kind of crazy about it. It was cool to see, a guy from Wisconsin actually, pull through and have that big win. So yeah, I tried to get him on the show that week after he won that tournament.
Oh, so this was a while. I didn't see the date on it.
A couple weeks ago. I tried to get him on. I reached in. I was like, hey, we do this. I do the show, podcast. Would love to have you on and talk about, how you did it. I understand you get a lot of requests. Just 5 minutes of your time, just because you're a local guy and it's a local thing. No response, no nothing.
But also heard worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. So
right,
it's a local show.
So maybe I'm throwing a little challenge to anyone that knows Caleb to be like, what you doing blowing these guys off?
Yeah.
Wanted to give him a little spotlight here local and congratulate him for the big win. So, what are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna talk about today? I have no plans of anything. I got a couple things that I saw. In fact, one of them is a post on Instagram from a bow company that I thought of you right away, Wags, when I saw this.
Matthews?
Not Matthews, a bow that I shoot. Bowtech.
Okay.
The Bowtech.
Bowtech. I'm going to get to that. We'll share what that thing is that I saw coming up here. We continue tailgate talk.
Bowtech. Yeah, you saw a price tag that had more zeros at the end of it. That's why Wagner shoots a Matthews. He sucked at baseball. Can't afford that. Why do you buy that $1,000 bow? Because my baseball card says that's all you can afford. Oh.
I am Ritter, along with the former major leaguer Paul Wagner, a.k.a. Wags, Eric Tasker, in studio. I mentioned before the break that I saw a post on Bowtech's Instagram, and I thought of you, Wags. It says, if you haven't been practicing shooting while sitting, crouching, or kneeling, in addition to standing, be sure to do so before opening day rolls around. You never know what surprises may come up and mess up your shot routine. Be ahead of the game when the opportunity presents itself this year.
That is true.
Does that remind you of anything?
Yes, it does.
I'm not trying to rub in the myths of the turkey. It was the more of the looks I was getting when we did the show live out at Buck Archery, and I'm sitting and shooting and kneeling, and it looks like, what's he doing?
He's got
Everybody's
glass,
looking
got
around.
glass
What's
hanging
going
around
on
over
here?
there.
I'm wearing my bino harness, and I'm sitting. It's like, what is it doing?
Yeah.
Reality. I
He was
figured that
ahead
one
of
out.
the game.
I go definitely one step ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I saw that right. I thought I was like, oh, look at that. I'm not the only one that feels that way. So we talked about the ski boaters, my experience with that. We talked about Tasker getting me some venison and why he's my new best friend in this room. Anything you guys want to bring to the table?
I do. We did mention this a little bit, and I know you are a public land guy. I'm just going to throw this out real quick. Really good company out of Algoma. They are the leading rep for redneck blinds. And being public land hunters, you don't really know that much, or you don't need that. But in my situation, getting a couple rednecks delivered tomorrow at 2:00. Very, very excited. We actually, with Scott and Tanya, they're great people. And what I did is I put a bunch of people together. So we ordered about 7 rednecks. So they're coming down on 3 goosenecks. And one of them is Jared Kelnick. Jared Kelnick is a stud baseball player who will be in the major leagues for many, many years. He's out of Waukesha. He's a #1 draft pick. But the Kelnicks, he just bought some lands. We went out and looked at his property. He's going to have some. I got a bunch of other guys. So they're coming, and I'm kind of excited. They do it. They set it up. They bring it in.
Are you doing the box blinds, the
Yes.
pedestal boxes?
So
Okay.
I did the big Buck Palace. I did a Buck Palace and another one called the Buck Country. And then there's a Predator. There's a bunch of different sizes, but I figured with my daughters and them being kind of hard to keep them attracted to the sport, I figured if I put these rednecks on, I'm close enough on my property where there's internet service, so they could come up there and sit with me or be up there, and they can do their Instagram and they can make TikToks.
Be nice
and they can
and
do
warm.
all that stuff. But
At least TikToks in the blind.
yeah, but at least they'll be up there with me. But again, the redneck blinds are coming, so I was kind of excited. And I know we've addressed that before. And I'm a permanent blind guy. We figured out what the routes are for me. So if I need be, you can always lift them up on a forklift. And I got the tractor, so I'll just put the forks on the tractor if I want to do it. But they will set it up for you, strap it down, and then I don't have to worry about the wind shifting or blowing me over. And then I'll see how it's done. And if I do need to move it per movement or something that I see, I can always just take the tractor out there with the forks.
I'm looking at this thing. I mean, come on. Are you staying at like the Four Seasons Resort in this thing? I mean, this has got like cup holders and like trays and everything on the inside. It's got like windows all the way around it. Is that a carpeted floor?
Yes.
Does it have a massage sheet?
It does not have
No.
that.
Okay.
There's no neon lights out at the window.
I mean, it's pretty close to it though, Tasker. We're
Is
looking
it?
pretty close here. I'm looking at the Big Country Platinum blind. Look at that thing. Wow. Well, you're going to be sitting pretty.
Yeah, they're nice. They're really nice, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
You're looking at the Buck Palace here. Yeah, it's sharp looking stuff. Well, good deal.
Yeah, so that one comes. Those guys come, and they, like I said, they deliver, they set up, they do everything for you. You can buy the little the pieces for it if you want to buy swivel chairs or you want to buy shooting rests or anything like that. Which, in my opinion, is a little bit overpriced. You can go up to Cabela's and we can get a swivel chair for probably half the price. My swivel chair doesn't need to say redneck on it. It can say Cabela's.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I don't need that, but yeah, really, really good. And
Look at the like foam stuff on the walls of these things. It's like studio sound dampening. It's like better than
We're
the
gonna
studio
do
that
a
we're in.
live one
Right.
there.
I'm like
Yeah.
looking at that going,
I
that
can't
like
wait.
literally almost looks like it's better soundproofing than what we even have in the studio that we're
That's
doing this
perfect.
show from right now. Wow.
yeah, so they all turned out pretty good, and I got so I did the Big Country and I did the Buck Palace crossover, And then there's a Predator crossover, so we got about 3 of those coming. But my big country is the one, the 6x7 was the big one that I got. So I got a 10-foot powder-coated stand. And it's got a little front porch on it, so if you climb up it, you're okay. Again, it sounds like it's outrageously priced, and it probably is, But when you can go from something like that for a couple $1,000s, right now it probably cost me $5,000 with the cost of lumber prices to build something.
Right.
So, you spend a couple $1,000s on it. That one comes in at like $2,400 and the other one was like $2,200. Yeah, but right now, hell,
They're all on sale
2x4 is
right now,
$10.
Right.
The next thing you know, I'm going to build something that's going to be half-assed.
With a sheet of OSB going for around
100
$80.
bucks. Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
But real good people. They're called Extreme Custom Food Plots, and they're out of Algoma. They do a lot of food plot work. They're super good people. She actually is the niece of Jerry Augustine.
Oh.
So Jerry,
Augie.
so she's Augie's niece, and they're up there. But they got a great company, and if anybody gets a chance to look it up, just look it up. It's Extreme Custom Food Plots, and they're out of Algoma.
Awesome stuff. Well, for you, being someone that has your own land and has, the ability to put those things, I can see where definitely that's just a better investment than constantly working at other blinds, like you said, trying to build something to just get the pre-done, thing to put and have there.
And I do that, and I do those. Again, these are strictly for gun hunting for them. My daughter, obviously, you're not going to take your children. I mean, you can, but you're not going to take your son out bow hunting when you're sitting up waiting for that big buck to come through. You're kind of by yourself. So I still have the, my ladder stands or my climber. I can do that where I like my runs, but over my food plots, this is nice for that time before Thanksgiving. If my daughter comes home for college, she finishes her exams, she can come up there. I can catch up with her. We can still sit up there and talk. I can catch up with my daughter, how school's going, and if something big comes out, she can take it. She shoots a little 270, and you know what, the 30-30's got a scope on it. So if she wants to do it, if not, it's just good family time. And you said that a long time ago. Nice. We talked about that.
Right.
Where, hey, sometimes as I get older, it's not necessarily the thrill of the kill; it's the hunt. And if my daughter will sit with me for 4 hours before sunset, and we can see if something walks in, it'll be good family time.
Yeah. I mean, even when it comes to fishing, I was that way with a couple of fish over the weekend that I hooked into 2 decent fish that got off. I didn't care. I was happy. I hooked him. I got him. That was good enough. I didn't need to actually get it in the boat. I saw it. I got it next to me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That was good enough for me. It was that that was still the catch to me. It didn't necessarily, I don't need the grip and grin photo. I know it. It's in my head. I've seen it. I know what it was like. Isn't it cool though to be excited about something? You're like a kid excited about deer stands. Isn't it kind of cool to have something to be that excited about though?
That's how I feel about deer season already. I mean, this weather. That was one of the things that I sent you. We can catch up or talk about that after the break. But I don't know. I'm starting to get the itch big time. I want to start shooting my bow every day. I want to just start sending arrows at targets. And this weather, after we got past those couple really hot days, it starts to cool off like this, and it's 60 degrees in the morning, and it starts to feel like we're at the end of summer and we're going into fall with the cooler and kind of gray clouds and everything.
What Tasker's saying is he's starting to go into rut.
I am. I'm feeling it. And
it's pre-rut. He's in pre-rut.
It's pre-rut for sure. So it might be a long pre-rut, but I'm ready. So I'm excited.
It's Tailgate Talk. I am Ritter, along with the former Major Leaguer Paul Wagner, a.k.a. Wags, Eric Tasker with us. You can find the show on socials at On The Tailgate. I'm at On Air Ritter. What is it? At ET5504 if you want to find Tasker. And hit us up with any questions, any comments, anything you wanted to get to. We were talking about getting ready for deer season and feeling excited about it. It's weird to be it's barely past the 4th of July, deer season. But September is going to be here before we know it. In the way that 2021 has already flown by, I feel like we're going to blink and it's here.
Yeah.
So when do you start prepping or really starting to think about deer season? We kind of touched on this a couple of weeks ago just with camera placements.
Yeah, all year. I don't know.
He's ready.
I keep seeing videos, and there's a couple other podcasts that I follow, and they were just showing some of their big buck recovery videos, like live footage of them actually meeting up with their buddies right after they shot, and that they were going to go recover the deer. I'm starting to see more and more of that stuff in my, I guess, artificial intelligence Facebook feed. That I'm starting to get some of that stuff. I'm starting to get excited, and I saw something that I had sent you guys about, people starting to talk about what's the best week to make sure that you take off of work. And it always seems to be a discussion that people are either the end of October or the beginning of November.
Which typically falls, the rut is one of those 2 weeks.
Right.
Times.
And Wags, you said that you had some feedback on it. I know from firsthand, I took almost both weeks off in the entirety last year. And I had 2 very, very different seasons in those 2 weeks. So what did you think about those?
I've only got about 5. I only have 5 wall hangers, 5, 6 in a smaller one. I've only got 5 wall hangers, and they're all about, for me, a wall hanger isn't 200 inches. I got anywhere from about 146 to about 162. And I've always hunted Halloween, but 3 of those bucks were taken on November 3rd. So when you looked at it, when you broke it down, I'm always taking that first week in November. Unfortunately, with the girls and the family, we always go down to Florida. So we're St. Pete Beach, we're Tampa people, and I go down there. So I'll always fly. They fly out like the 4th or the 5th, and nobody's ever listened to me.
Yeah.
They always tell me, Dad, go out and shoot that big buck on Halloween so you can go to Florida. But then I'll fly down later and spend the next 3 or 4 weeks. But I have to get it done. I'll do whatever I can September into October. But that week when they leave, that first week, and they're getting ready to leave for Florida, I'm out in the woods every day until I can get that. And then I just call my Southwest, and then I'll use my points, and I jump down to Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a first weeker. I'm a first week November. Big time.
Yeah. I've already taken that for this year. We've got the Airbnb booked. I'm taking a trip with a couple of guys. We're going to go hunt out in the western part of the state, November 1st to the 5th. That week. We've kind of already blocked off. Last year, that week, my brother was out there with the same group of guys, and they were hunting in a way that I'm jacked to hunt this way because this is totally my style. It's the run and gun. It's not the weight. Like, they were out just rattling. They were out just walking the woods, stalking, rattling, and the amount of bucks they saw in big deer, I'm like, yes, I'm all for this. Because that's totally my style. They're constantly moving.
For sure.
Yeah, which is one question I was going to bring up when you talk about stands before. Have you ever thought of or considered the option of saddle hunting? You talk about, the different stands. You got climbers and, stuff like that. What about saddles? How do you feel about those?
I've seen them, and I've seen a little bit of it. I think, I'm going to be perfectly honest, you could do that. I think it'd be easy. You got a fat ass like me.
Or me.
I'd be like, hey, there's Wagner and Tasker. They're stuck in hammocks.
They're upside down. I know I would be upside down.
I know I couldn't do it, but I have seen it, and I can see how they push off almost like linesmen do.
That's
you can
exactly
come around
it.
the tree, and you can do that. It looks phenomenal, but for me, it looks a little too hard. But for you, I think that's the type of hunting you'd probably love.
I'm kicking
it.
around that idea.
Yeah.
That's I think I want to get into a saddle for this year because like I said, I plan to take out that week to kind of do the running and gunning. But I am going to bow hunt a little bit before that, just myself. I found some pretty good. Mentioned when I saw turkey hunt, I found a pretty good area that I think I would like to at least go check it out. I think to have a saddle in that area might be kind of beneficial and fun for me because I don't want to take the time to climber or set. So, I'd rather just be able to walk in, quick run up the tree, hang there for a bit, and then just slide down and get out
and push off and come around,
right,
and kind of play your feet on the tree. It looks pretty cool, but something that I couldn't do.
I think the big advantage with that is that you're not stuck to one side of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the climbers, you can try and, for me last year, I had that same exact situation where the deer was exactly on the opposite side of the tree of me. And if I could have swung around, I may have had a better opportunity at it as opposed to where it actually ended up coming out. But I love my climber. It's so comfortable. I have a footrest on it.
I'm attracted to the idea also of being able to use the tree to hide yourself.
Yeah.
You can kind of just peek a bit and watch around a tree without, risk of the motion or anything like that from in the tree. You can kind of become one with the tree.
Yeah. Yeah, that is nice. That's got to be one of the huge advantages with that you're not stuck to one side and you're able to kind of move around that.
The one thing that I did see that, I watched that video, and I don't know, I think it was the guys from the Public Hunt. I think it was Public Hunting Land. It was the hairy guy.
Oh, Hunt Public or
Hunt
whatever.
Public or something like that.
The Hunting Public.
And what they did, the one thing, he was in it, because he's a skinnier guy, a lighter weighted guy, and one of them was in it. And what they did is, now that I'm just thinking, they literally took their hunting boots and they almost, when they got up there, they made sure that they kicked off all the loose bark so that when they would move around, they wouldn't cause noise. So like you said, you can hide behind it, and you don't want all of a sudden a big buck coming. You got to get on that side, and all of a sudden you kick that tree, and all of a sudden bark noise, boom, gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? There is probably an art to it, and it's something that's probably pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of I'm kicking around as I'm starting to think about, like you said, I'm going, boy, it's going to come up soon. I don't want to get caught with your pants down, essentially. To use the reference of things, but definitely need to get out and start shooting the bow again. I haven't shot the bow since we shot together at Buck Rub. I mean, I took it out in the woods, turkey hunting for 4 days, but never fired a shot. And I've not shot the bow since then. And I was looking at the other night in the basement as I was going through some tackle and doing some, change out stuff before fishing. And I'm like, I miss that thing. I miss you. We need to go shoot together.
Yeah. I see it in the garage every morning. I'm like, yeah, it's time. Got to start doing it.
And I do. I like it. But also we were talking about muskie fishing. I didn't send you the picture. Or maybe I did. I'm not sure which one I sent it to, but
I know I got a picture of a big muskie from
you. I saw that one too.
Yeah, and that's a time too. You're more of the fishing, and we're more of the whitetail hunting. Mm-hmm. But at that time of year, I have so many friends and buddies up north that will use that time to muskie fish, float down the flowages, do their muskie fishing when everybody's out in the woods and kind of have the free time. Sort of like what we were talking about in the very beginning.
I used to duck hunt that way.
Yep, I have a bunch of buddies that go out to the Mississippi and they bird hunt opening day. And they love it because the launches are empty.
Yep.
There's nobody in the water, and they can see orange in the woods, but they don't care,
Yeah.
So they kind of get away from it. But I like it when the fall season comes in. Yes, it's deer hunting season. I get all that ready. But I'm not a big bass fisherman like we talked about, but I love muskie. I love floating down the river and trying to hook into a big muskie.
We actually, with a friend, was just getting that conversation, talking about vacation days. Because I've got like a ton of vacation to use up. And, I was saving some for Canada. We were planning, we were going to do our trip that we were hosting together to go up to Ballards. And they've not said it's canceled, but it's canceled. The rulings coming out of Canada that, yes, as of July 3rd, they've started now opening up the borders for Canadian residents to travel back and forth. If you're vaccinated as a Canadian resident, you no longer have to quarantine. They're still not allowing Americans, though, or other countries to travel into Canada. I don't expect that to even become an option until the end of August, potentially as late as November. I mean, it's going to be a while before Canada allows that. So there's just no way Canada's happening. So I've got basically that week that I had set aside for the trip to put some other days. I, already have planned and set aside the week in November to go bow hunt a bit. But then it's like, well, I like to be off a lot in the fall. And there's a lot of stuff going on because, like you said, I'm also thinking doing some, steelhead fishing or some salmon fishing, get down in the rivers.
It's all October.
Yeah, and do some of that for a bit this fall, too. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to save some of those days, maybe get in the rivers, do a little fishing like that. I'd love, keep talking about I want a muskie and a kayak. I want to do that. But the hardest part about this is I need to dedicate time to really go up north to do that.
Yeah.
I think, the more I've thought about trying to do it in and around here, I have a much better chance, I think, to go up north. Because you've such a limited amount of lakes that actually hold muskies. In the southern part of the state where we are, I mean, Okauchee might be the closest to here that's kind of known to have muskies in
Pewaukee
it.
too, right?
Pewaukee too.
Yeah.
By the way, Pewaukee is really hard to get around. In a kayak, that is a terrible lake to get around. It is so weedy and so thick. And I've even got the fin pedal drive type thing, which is easier. Some of the guys that have the pedal drive things that have the little propeller on it, those don't move for crap. Those are horrible in weeds. I can get around better. But it's even, it's hard for me. And then even to pull that out and then go with a paddle, Pewaukee's not a lake that I want to try and fish in a kayak at all. So you're not going to see me on my kayak in Pewaukee anytime. Okauchee, I think just too much boat traffic to even try with it. The Winnebago system is the next best option for me, which I'm very experienced on there, but bass fishing, so I don't even necessarily know where to start with muskie fishing there. So.
You were saying that about vacation days. I've been thinking about that. I've been telling my dad for probably 2 or 3 weeks now. I got to figure out how many days I have and plan out our trips because last year, and why I brought that up is that we went up. I took Tuesday through Friday off the last week of October, and I was off Wednesday through Friday the following week. So we had 6 days and 5 days of hunting back to back. Which is a short window that I was back in town. The last week of October, saw all the deer. Just didn't get a shot at them. it was like 50s every day, 40s, 50s every day. And then if you remember last year around the election, that first week of the year, or the first week of November, it was 75 degrees. So I had a very odd hunting season last year in terms of that last kind of prime 2 weeks where we didn't see any deer at all the first week of November then. So we planned everything last year to be around that 2-week window. And then it's almost as if we just have to wait until we're closer to start to see some of those long-term projections for weather, because otherwise then we're stuck in this, well, hey, I've been planning on taking this time off, and then it's 70 degrees again. And then it's almost kind of a waste. So I don't know, but that's just what we're trying to figure out now. Maybe we'll do a couple longer or a couple shorter trips instead of the 2 long trips and do like a Thursday through Sunday. That's kind of times.
I think where I'm at with things. I know trip-wise the things I've got coming up. My wife and I, we've rented a house on Lake Winnebago for the holiday weekend, for Labor Day weekend. So I'll be fishing on Winnebago for sure that weekend. But that's really it that I know for sure set in stone. Otherwise, I'm the same as you. I'm like thinking like weather, all that's dependent. I like to hang out on my days to kind of figure it out. And if I see something coming up, going, I think I'm going to take off this Friday and Monday and, go and try and do this. I've got 25 days, by the way, to use up.
Well, yeah, is that because of the bank days with like working on like holidays around that too? Because you guys have to make up those,
I've used some of those. I've contracted in some extra times.
Additional,
here's one benefit I'll give you if you work in any job where you can have any sort of leverage. If they won't give you more money, just ask for time off. And you know what? I'd always rather have time off than money anyway.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I always hear her talk to the buddies. I go, come on, let's go. And they go, oh, I don't have PTO. I said, you know what? Don't worry about the PTO. What you would okay? Here's 150. I mean, I know fun and enthusiasm and excitement doesn't pay your Energies bill. I get that. But you know what? Don't worry about the PTO.
I would never have to worry about it.
Just call them up next time and be like, hey, I have fun and enthusiasm. Doesn't that like the house?
Doesn't that help? Can I just put an A on my how much I'm paying? But sometimes you don't. Yeah, you're right. Take the day off.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Maybe we're not going to pay you. And again, I don't know how it works. Each of my buddies are different individuals, but it's like, okay, you're so worried about getting, and I know, it is different for everybody, but screw the money, man. Let's just go out.
I'd rather have the time. I've said that all along. I will take less money for more time every time.
That's a great philosophy.
I'd like to have both. So. That's where it sucks for me, though, is that in sales, I don't really
if
ever
you're not
get
working, you're not
away.
Earning, I guess.
Yeah,
sort of.
well, that, and I have everything on my phone. So for me, it's just, I always turn off my notifications for email, and I don't have any of the alerts or anything set up, so I am able to kind of get away, but I still have my book of business in my phone.
Right.
So if people are emailing me or whatever, I've got backups and stuff, but I'm still always kind of connected. It's nice to just at least turn a lot of that off and just try and get away.
See, I could, I could work that where I could fish for an hour or two and then sit down and look and check some things. Okay, that's set. Take, 20 minutes to do some business. All right, and then get right back to the actual business. Like this whole working from home thing, the way it's went over the last year, I think it's changed a lot of people's mindsets and that sort of thing. And I've always been that person. I feel like I could do both together. You can do a little bit. Same thing. Work stuff's always connected. This past weekend, though, I didn't look or check phones or do anything the whole time I was out fishing. Like, I was filming, stuff for my channel, but I wasn't, like, scrolling social media or checking email or, I've got the Apple Watch, so my wife texts, and occasionally, I would just do the voice thing, which sucks on the Apple Watch, to try and, say something back to her. But even then, she would text me, and sometimes it'd be 10 minutes before I respond because, I'm working something. There was, at one point, I remember she had just texted me, and I heard the ding, and I made a cast. I'm like, oh, I'll check this after this cast. And as I'm pulling in, I got a big follow of a giant pike.
Oh, really?
Right? So I'm like, I'm figure eight, and he followed me for 2 figure eights before he finally dipped away. I'm like, well, I'm not texting back now. I got to take a couple more casts and see if I can, raise this thing up again and come. Never got that pike. I did get one dinky little pike that the bait was a third of his size. I'm like, you want to talk about an aggressive fish that's hungry? It's a tiny pike.
That's fun, though.
Yeah. Isn't that I love it with the muskies. I love doing a figure. even if you don't get them and I can't take the picture
Right.
and then release them and let them go back, when it really stops your. I mean, it's exciting when. Okay, everybody says, "Oh, do the figure 8 when you come up." I just reel in, and I figure it. All of a sudden, you see these eyes and stuff come at you, and you see a tail.
Yeah.
You're like, "Holy shit!"
You see the swells in the water.
And even if he doesn't bite it, and then all of a sudden he quick turns away, and it's weird how if I don't have the glasses on or you don't have something like that, you can still see it. It's so vivid for me. Like when I'm standing up and I'm watching, and you see that fish all of a sudden just turn away or dive deep. It's just like. Wow, that's awesome. That's
cool.
Awesome. It really is.
Yeah, I got to pull it up in the big screen. I should have video of the follow. Like I was filming at the time, but when I tried to look back on the little screen, I couldn't quite break it out. So I got to get into the big screen to look at it. But I'm pretty sure there'll be video of the follow.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
It was I was throwing a spinnerbait, and so I'm just rolling it back, and to see that slow, just methodical following behind it, I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to be so much fun. And then when it didn't take it right before the boat. I'm like, okay, figure 8, and it turned. I'm like, oh, come on, set it right into its face. Let's do this. And another one didn't, and then it went down. I was like, crap. That is so fun to me to just watch them just slow follow because they're just focused. Like,
yeah,
am I?
It is.
Or the
it's
second
so
is
cool.
One of the biggest pike in my life I caught. Same thing. It was during one of our club bass tournament things. We were pitching into some grass, and I was throwing a swim jig. Imagine that, me throwing a swim jig. What? And I'm just quick ripping it through. And I never saw the fish until it literally just came out. There's a clump of weeds, and it must have just been hiding just behind there because I'm watching my bait come, and all I saw was this giant head with just this mouth open in an instant, and it just crushed it.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's on. I can still, you talk about vivid memory. I can literally see that because I never expected that to happen. I'm just just about ready to okay, rip it back in, make it to the cast, and next this big head just explodes at me, and I'm like. Whoa!
That's awesome.
It's amazing to see some of those bass striking lures, especially with topwater, because their mouths are so big that you see the water suck in, and it's just the coolest thing when you see that in slow motion.
Biggest mistake why people miss fish in topwater is exactly that. As soon as they see that smash, think to set the hook. Don't give them a second. Yeah. See the smash, count 1, 2, then give it to them.
Give it.
Because they're just still sucking in. They haven't even done anything. You got to let them get that bait in. Saying that from experience, I've missed a ton. Can't tell you how many times I've had to dodge my own buzz bait.
Yeah, because it's flying up over back at you. Yeah.
I just like it how you're right. Everything is almost slow, but they're so fast and they're so quick. They're like praying. It's just that split second. Like when you're doing that figure, come on, because he's like this. He's just ready to go, and then all of a sudden. Turns away, and I'm like, whoa, where'd you go?
Get back here.
Where'd you go?
What are you doing?
You were so slow, ready to kill, and then all of a sudden, wham, that tail flaps up, and this 50 inches is gone.
Like I said, my first thought, as soon as I'm watching the happen, I was like, oh, this is going to happen, and then immediately I'm telling myself, set into the face, just so I'm trying to remind myself because I don't want to get caught in the moment if it does strike, and then I do the natural reaction of you think set the hook away, and that's where you're going to miss a muskie or a pike like that. You got to rip it into the face instead. Again, learned that lesson the hard way.
Probably.
But anyway, it's been fun. Fun catching up, chatting. A lot of stuff to get to. A lot of more fun left here summer before we get into fall. We should get your muskie guy on next week.
Yes, I will do that.
You try and do it? Yep. I want to talk to muskies. Is this whole floating down a river muskie fishing thing something I've never done, and I'm curious about that. And I think there may be a lot of people that would find it interesting. Yeah. Because that's a style of muskie fishing that we don't have in the southern part of the state down here that, is different up north. I've done a lot of big lake fishing up north, but not, kind of floating river thing and catching muskies in rivers. And I know there's a lot of people that do it, especially in the south. So
it is. It's a lot different. You're not driving around a circle weed bed. You're not on a planer board or nothing. I mean, this is big muskie baits. You can go down to Dick's and you can pick up these big muskie baits, and you're going under cedars that are on the side of the river, or big rocks. You can see all the rock formation when the water's coming and it kind of goes behind there. You'll set something up here, a top water, you come across the top, and boom, and they hide behind the rocks. And it's different, and you see it's so beautiful. It really is. You can go down those rivers, and we do those floats from either the Jenna Jam or wherever you want to go, and it's you see something different every time in the river, and it's something you should experience. It's really, really
I
beautiful.
can float a kayak down a river. I'm just saying. I feel like feel like that could be the
If it's
fun
water,
experience.
you can be there.
All right, no kidding. I can get into some stuff that most people can't get into. So,
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging with us this week. We appreciate it. Same time, same place. Again next week. If you want to check out more, we've got some previous episodes, some unaired stuff, some all kinds of stuff on our podcast channel. Just search out Tailgate Talk on the free iHeartRadio app. For Wags and Tasker, I'm Shaun Ritter.